moving right along. Stream, okay.
Grå.
Grå.
Rosa.
Rosa, maybe vowel raising.
Lilla.
Long L. Grå.
Grå. Alle mennene har lilla slips.
Alle mennene har lilla slips. Alle mennene
har lilla slips.
har lilla slips.
That's interesting. They chose an elephant instead of another paint can.
Oh, for gray? Gray paint. True. All men har. So in the Norse languages, I think it's just ha for the infinitive and har, the inflected. Those are the present's the only tense I've seen. But my point is, I think it doesn't have a label anywhere, like the haben and have. I think it's just all gone. All the men have on purple ties.
Blå.
Blå.
Lilla.
Lilla.
Lilla. Oransje.
Oransje. I hear a velar nasal and a single palatal fricative. Oransje. The sound is probably due to French, or maybe German, French through German, perhaps. And the spelling reminds me of Dutch. Blå.
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 Leser hun en blå bok?
Leser hun en blå bok? Leser hun en blå bok? Well, let's collect some noun phrases for Norwegian inflection. En blå bok.
Leser hun en blå bok? En bok.
Book. So, no ending here. No apparent ending on blå. And no ending, and this is a masculine noun, I think. Unlike German. Nominative. There's not really case, I don't think, with anything other than pronouns. Although it's possessive. Pink.
Rosa.
Rosa.
Jeg står ved det hvite gjerdet.
Jeg står ved det hvite gjerdet. The RD cluster simplified. Oh, we have R and D. No, never mind, it's a V.
Jeg står ved det hvite gjerdet.
Ved det hvite gjerdet. So all the final dental stops are silent.
Jeg står ved det hvite gjerdet.
Ved det hvite gjerdet. And so I stand near by the white fence is what it is. It's related to the word yard and garden, but it means fence, referred to an enclosure.
Jeg vil ha den hvite kjolen.
Hvite kjolen. Jeg vil ha, what's the word back? Yeah, with it.
Jeg.
But a I diphthong.
Vil. Ha.
Vil is inflected, zero marked. Ha is the infinitive.
Jeg vil ha den hvite kjolen.
Is reduced.
Den hvite kjolen.
Means it's a kjol. An article of clothing. Scarf. Dress. Kjolen. That makes me wonder if shawl is somehow connected here. Gusto. Got the Swedish one. One of 3 words of initial KJ in Swedish. Oh. Okay.
Jeg liker ikke grå klær.
Jeg liker ikke grå klær. There too the fricative is dropped.
Klær.
Clothing word. Kleider. Jeg liker ikke grå. And there, the lack of anything on the adjective is worth noting. I like not gray clothes. And this one has no article. 0 there.
Yeah, so in this question, je liker ikke grå klær.
Mm-hmm.
Can we, what exactly is going on syntactically? What is the scope of this
Excellent.
ikke?
That's a great question.
Klær.
So, before I give you my thoughts there, which I'm happy to do, what is your feeling about English not? Is it like the basic negator? What's its scope?
I think it negates verbs.
True.
Or
And
specifically,
uh-huh.
you have like, it can negate auxiliaries, it will negate main, like the main verb of the sentence, often with do support,
Any other classes of words?
unless it's an yeah, you'll need to throw in do to negate something unless it's an auxiliary.
No, I mean in the scope of not. Is it
Okay.
only verbs that it negates or other things too?
Well, if you have no, you can do adjectives as well,
Exactly.
right? So you can say this is not red or something.
Any other type of thing that one could negate with not?
I don't think nouns are. With nouns, I think you would just say no, like I have no dogs or
Right, but
something.
people do call themselves things like not Emily.
That's true.
So there's a case. It's not a standard feature of English by any means, but you do see it in noun things. What do you think? Does this sound good or bad if I say not on top of the house? Is that a recognizable stretch of English to you, or does it seem alien?
Yeah, that seems fine.
Yeah,
Are you on top of the house? No, I am not on top of the
exactly.
house.
Yep, for me too. Oh, the prepositional begins, of course, with the preposition on top of the house. So that's the kind of thing that can be negated by not as well. This doesn't really have to do with Norwegian. Let's take it out. Well, it does have to do with it. It's all connected, but it's not subordinate to it. Not Emily. So we can get it with a noun, marginally. That one's to me feels the newest, the slangiest. You can have not plus. I'm going to put a word boundary sign there because I don't. The only thing it fuses with to me is there's a verb do. And not really, can't, that's not true. Verb, auxiliary is the classic name. Do being the main auxiliary, unmarked for flavor, and then can, will, should, must, and so on. So not will negate a verb, not will negate an adjective. But then we also have this no people. What was your example? No cats, no people.
I have no dogs or
Yeah.
something.
To me, the no is a determiner, or like a numeral specifier.
Okay.
It's empty quantity, so it's not the same sentence no, I think. We have two distinguishable no words, but really only one not, in my view. Not terribly choosy with regard to the word class it's specified. How about, can we get not and an adverbial? Adverb. I don't think adverb is
I
really
woke up
solid word
not
class,
early
but
today.
say again?
I woke up not early today. That's question mark.
Not early. Yeah, it doesn't sound so great to me. What if, okay, now I was going to say what, not likely, but likely looks like an adverb, but it's not. But some other adverbial, like not at 4 o'clock. How does that sound?
When would you like to
That's
meet? Not at 4 o'clock.
that's a
That's fine. But
that's a
that's a
preposition.
prepositional
Yeah,
phrase.
it is. Yeah, let me add that to the list. What's something that is adverbial but not slowly? not not quickly, not slowly. Neither quickly nor slowly. That's a different word, but
I think you could make that work. You could say, how did he proceed?
yeah.
Not slowly. I could conceive of it, but it's far from prototypical.
All right, but definitely with verb. Now, with the verb as its scope, should we say verb? Should we say verb phrase? Let's do both. Maybe they're not really distinct things. If we say it negates a verb phrase like "don't come near me," everything from the do to the near me is in the scope of the negative. That's where we want you not to come. And I would say, maybe not. But My question is, if we just look at the scope of the verb that not negates, which direction is it pointing? Like, what usually comes first?
The not and then the stuff that follows.
By definition, the stuff that follows comes later. Oh no, you're sorry. You're saying that's the scope. I disagree. I think it's fundamentally with a verb. It's fundamentally leftward pointing. Why do I think that? I cannot. I
In
will not.
English,
I do not. The do in a do not verb phrase is the most essential part. We're not going to delete that. We can leave off the other verbal stuff. But I do not. It does not. What do you think?
okay.
Convinced? Should I give more
That's
examples?
true. That's true for our auxiliaries, but for prepositional phrases, which we
Yes.
established were fine, it is more rightward pointing.
Definitely. Not go. To boldly go, and we don't have the negative. To be or not to be. The not is definitely pointing rightward there, because the negative is the second option first. To be or not to be. It's not to be not or to be. The not is pointing right. But I think with the verb, it's fundamentally the one to the next. So in a case like may go, or something like that, where we have a subject specified, understood, I, he, or he may go. Between may and go, which is the true verb of the sentence? Which was like the imposter?
May.
The may is the true one. That's how I feel too. Now, if we negate it, it gives
The
us may not.
inflected verb,
Say
if you
again?
will.
The inflected, yeah. Should time that better. The inflected one, although may, strictly speaking, is not inflected. It's got no marking on it, but that's the only form that would work there for that auxiliary in modern English. But yeah, I think may has its narrower scope, and then there's a wider verb phrase that it's part of. But I think the structure, in other words, is like this. We can take the pronoun. That the not looks leftward in its effect. Its effect runs to the left, primarily within a verb phrase. But is that just a different way of saying that in Germanic, your default position is V2? Well, for English, it's a bit different.
Can you? Is it just V2?
Well,
Yeah,
I think
guess
I
maybe.
think our English constraint, these English facts, are governed by this. What I mean by V2 is the inflected verb in final and second position, right? Just for short. When we've seen over and over with German. And final position. Oh, no, quite precisely not. Second position. The Grundstellung, so-called, although not really basic, but the most common in a declarative and those other sentence types that we looked at. Grundstellung. What are the morphemes there? How many morphemes in this word? Grundstellung.
I see at least 3.
Agree. I don't count any more. Just 3 for me. Unless you regard the G as reflecting the old Ko, but as far as German parts, yeah, it's not an un that it contrasts with. But un is its own thing. Now, if that's true, he may not go. The reason that the not would go there and exceptionally look leftward for a verb might be because you tend to have your subject out in front. That's its own phrase. That's its own constituent of the sentence. So then the inflected verb just has to go in that slot, basically. And the negating word tended to follow. Now we do have not to be with the infinitive. Not tired. Well, that's not. That's tired. Yeah, it is a participle. Not seen. Not known. Those things. It is generally looking rightward there with non-finite verbs. With those verbal, noun, verbal, adjective. It's that order. The noun with verbal adjective. So with liker now, in contrast, I guess your question, the main two options I see would be that ikke is negating the noun to its right, or it's pointing leftward. And I think it's the latter. I think ikke is exactly equivalent to our not, but I could be wrong.
Vi har 3 hvite mus.
It's happened before. Vi har 3 hvite mus. We have 3 white mice.
Tomatsuppen er oransje.
Orange. So, tomatsuppen, the N there looks like a plural, but it's not. It's definitely the tomato soup. So there's an important difference in our word order. Noun stem with an appended determiner like that. It's not the only way, but it exists in all of the Norse languages. Fused into one word.
So that seems a little surprising from a Germanic perspective for the article to be at the end like that.
Why do you say that?
Well, in the other Germanic languages I know, namely the West Germanic ones, it is not at the end
It's not at the end of the noun.
of the noun.
What do you think of? Does this seem like something on the margin within the boundaries of your English experience, brother mine? It's not
What?
an article. Brother mine. This phrase, brother mine. Does that have a meaning to you in English,
I
or does it
think
not?
I have. It sounds archaic.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But you've got your head noun first and a determiner following. So to me, the fact that it sounds archaic might point to the fact that it is archaic, and even to be projected back as far as the ancestral language
Tomatsuppen.
with Norwegian. I think there was more flexibility at older stages of Indo-European.
Frakken hans er grå.
And it just came to be settled down. Now, in Norwegian, we still have options. There's another type of construction where you get a preceding determiner word. I hope we see some soon. But great questions all. Frakken hans er grå. His coat. So here is that brother mine order. Now, of course, there's also fata unza. Can you tell us what this means or refers to? Fata unza.
Jeg vil ha et lilla bord og blå stoler.
Anybody there? If you are, I can't hear you. Jeg vil ha et lilla bord og blå stoler. I want to have, or we can just say I want. Here we go. Here is a phrase in
Ha.
article upon request. I want a, it looks like maybe a different word, but it's a form of the numeral and indefinite. I want a purple bord is table. Purple table and blå stoler, blue chairs. Oops. Oh, what is and?
Hvorfor er suppen blå?
I think this OGO is related to augment. And those guys. Making bigger. It's of course German auch. Oh, I don't want that. I want OG.
That's quite a statement.
There
A
you go.
purple table and blue chairs.
Oh, yeah, aesthetically. Okay, I can hear you again. I think you may have cut out, or maybe you stepped away. Just held your tongue. But you recognize this fata unza?
Yes.
It looks...
I think it's pater noster
exactly
in Latin,
right.
right?
That is what we have to identify. So this is, to me, I mean, we could cite this as a parallel, but treat this one with caution because it's modeled on the Latin translation of the Bible, and not really inheritance necessarily. Not necessarily an inheritance from Germanic, although the acceptability of the word order, its usability, might be a bit of weight on that side of the scale. So this oak, meaning and, Germanic oak, which we have in German too, and this hoog, to increase, enlarge. There it is.
Oh wow, this is auch. Is
Auch
that
is there.
word?
I think we have it underlyingly in the Old English for though, which was, I use 8 for theta, theach. And that particle, maybe. Maybe, actually, with ow, that's a bad match. Strike that, please. Augustus of Latin. Do you recognize any of these Irish words? Uasol. Was. A nickname will be related from English, right?
Yep.
Hur suppen blå? Why is the soup blue? Varför suppen blå? Oh, but the word suppen, the word order that we were talking about pertains to the definite, maybe not.
Har dere rosa sko?
Har dere pink shoes? Rosa sko. You did it.
Rosa og rødt er farger.
Rosa og rødt er farger. Rosa og rødt er farger. So with the DT, that is a sounded thing. What do you make of that spelling? R-E-D-T for red.
Can you pronounce it again?
Rødt.
Rosa og rødt er farger.
Rødt. I'll put it up here. Rødt.
Oransje
Okay, I
er en
have a
varm
guess.
farge.
But I could be wrong.
That is always a possibility.
I think if it was just R-T, then it would be good. It would have a long vowel. So this kind of makes it have a short vowel.
Actually, I think the T would be silent in that case. I think there is a morphic boundary here. Red and then a neuter agreement suffix. Is
Okay.
Yeah. Oransje er en varm farge.
Hva smaker den lilla isen?
Hva smaker den lilla isen? Isen, the ice cream. Den lilla isen. Here we go. What do we see here? Meaning the purple ice cream.
What's our question about this sentence?
What do we see in this phrase? Can you break it down, please? What kind of a phrase is it?
It's a question. We have the verb in second position, just like we expect.
No, I mean...
Like, wie schmeckt...
Just this phrase is what I mean. Yeah, that's right. Wie schmeckt. WH followed by the question, the inflected verb. What do we see in den lilla isen? Lilla is, lilla.
Hva smaker den lilla isen?
It looks like it's double articles, right?
That's exactly
this in
right.
on the end and this den in the front.
That's right. With the D when it's initial versus D-less when it's fused. That's right. But the same thing, ultimately. That purple ice cream
Isen.
there.
Hvor er den grå skjorten min?
What should be the need for both articles?
The fact that I don't know, it seems handy that I don't know that it's needed, but because when it's a single word, you just have the one. The fact that it's a two-word phrase, maybe? It's kind of nice. It gives you the beginning and the end point of your noun phrase. What could be better? Hvor er den grå skjorten min? If German had that, I think you'd have a much easier time parsing your way through the sentences.
Jeg vil ha et lilla bord og blå stoler.
Right? Because with those, what I keep calling the sandwich construction, maybe that's not the best term for it, but those really heavy verb phrases with material intervening, those cause confusion if you're not used to them. Jeg vil ha et lilla bord og blå stoler. Stoler.
Jeg vil ha et lilla bord og blå stoler.
Stoler. So it's I want to have, or just I want the purple table. Now it's indefinite, and that article or numeral, same word here, is initial. I want, so not the purple table. Ooh, and we need that word, and blue chairs. And the table. Oh, good grief, how hard is this?
Har dere rosa sko?
That's you. Do you have? Don't you have? Do you not have? Okay, that's interesting. So talking about the scope of not, right? We've got the two positions there. What can we say about that? Did you not versus didn't you? What's the scope of not. Do you have rosa sko, pink shoes?
Jeg vil ha et lilla bord og blå stoler.
Jeg vil ha et lilla bord. I'm just going to word bank it because I'm incapable of getting this one. Lilla bord, table, and blue chairs. Hallelujah. So,
Did you not is interesting.
welcome back to Language Institute.
Would
I'm
you
your
say
VerbAlly, and we're joined by Levi, as you can hear. What's that, Levi?
this did you not is interesting. What would you say is the scope of the not? Because if it looks immediately leftward, how does it know to skip the you?
How does it know to? Does it even?
I don't know.
So at Lango, if you're new to us, welcome. We teach in the order that we started hosting the language: English, Korean, Spanish, Chinese, French, German, Japanese, Portuguese, Italian. Hanja is the next thing. Chinese characters for Korean users. So we're developing more of these days in our materials. Let's stay with North. And if it's your first time watching, what we're doing on this stream is learning all the languages on Duolingo. One by one after another. Rarely two at a time. Money.
En kvittering.
Kvittering. The non-initial stress makes me think it's not a Germanic word.
En pose.
Ooh, the high vowel.
Penger.
Penger. Penger. So there's that falling motion on the stress syllable and then nice clear upstep, like a fifth or so, to the unstressed second syllable. In words like it's the dominant pitch pattern to my ear. But not the only one. In kvittering.
En kvittering.
Hvor mye koster denne skjorta?
Hvor mye koster denne skjorta? Now, this one is not just the article, I think it's a diacritic that. Oh, is it shirt?
Skjorta.
This shirt is what it means. Denne. Hvor mye koster?
Hvor mye koster denne skjorta?
Okay, not raised O here. Koster in that closed syllable. Hvor mye. And it's singular. Does this shirt cost? Hvor mye koster? Verb in second position.
En kvittering.
So, but my answer, I think my answer to your question, how does the not know, how does the word not know to jump over the U? Well, I was going to say it doesn't really need to, but what do you mean by jump over? Maybe I misunderstand.
So you said it has leftward scope to know what to negate. And I would say in did you not, isn't it negating the did?
Trenger
And
du
if so,
kvittering?
or is it negating the you?
Did not you?
Because you say, did you not? Did you or did you not? So I think it's negating the did.
I agree.
So how does it know to skip over the you?
Well, I wouldn't really fundamentally talk about words knowing to do things. I don't attribute sentience to them as a property. But let me translate what I think you're asking. It's like, how do we, when we're decoding a thing like this, I don't know. Sometimes you can have discontinuous phrases. German does it all the time, right? It pinches other stuff into the middle of its phrases. And when it's just a result of your reordering, apparently, for different sentence types. We get discontinuous phrases in English too. And we do it in, not just in like negations and questions, we do it with, it was the greatest fun, let's see, what's an example? Where people will have a complement of an adjective displaced until after the, postponed until after the noun. Oh, he's a harder player than me to beat, right? Where the to beat doesn't really belong as much with the noun me, the pronoun there. Let me put that up so we can absorb it. A harder player. Now, harder is ambiguous. A harder player than me, that would be meaningful, but if I add something like to beat, that shifts the meaning to me. It forces a different reading. What I mean is to beat is that this infinitive is properly the complement, or whatever, it belongs with hard from the phrase hard to beat. A player who is harder to beat than I is my standard English rendering of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Harder
makes
to
sense.
beat than I am hard to beat. So this is a discontinuous phrase in my view. Maybe not. I suppose there's other analyses possible. Trenger du kvittering? Now the trenger.
Trenger.
You need. Receipt. Check.
Kvittering.
It's indefinite.
Vil du ha kvittering?
Vil du ha kvittering? Du.
Hvor er pengene mine?
Okay, where are my monies?
Pengene.
Plural, definite, but not in English. Oh, do you see any cognates for pengene? I think I might have one. And the reason it would also.
Pecunia, maybe.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, that could be true for what I'm thinking of too. My thought is that it's related to pfennig and penny.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the basic stem penge. Yeah, akin to penny. Penninger. German has that too, with a nasal final instead of pfennig of the spelling. But the initial P, German PF, points to alone. The standard German has Pfennig, but we often heard the form Pfenning where I was. That seemed to be at least as frequent. And so the penny. Oh, this is not Germanic. It's a Germanic word, but we're looking at a Finno-Ugric language here. Finnish? Hungarian. Yeah, with all these cases. Look at that. And it means they're very excellent, very good. And as a noun, blade. Okay. Penning coin, penningar. Just offer for comparison. Panningas. So with the eng being original. And the g from dissimilation, I guess. Doublet of pfennig. Pandan. The first part is possibly a borrowing of either pan or a piece of cloth. If it's pan with a semantic shift explained as a penny being a coin with a concave form, or if it's from the word piece of cloth, because cloth was often used as a means of payment. Fenneman, an able scholar, suggests another possibility, following his controversial Punic superstrate theory that punning may derive from Carthaginian traders' jargon use of Punic. Punic punny, face. Not the word Punic, but that's the language. Love the writing. To mean coin, face for coin, as almost all Carthaginian coins depict the face of Tanit, a goddess who was known as the face of Baal. Fenneman further speculates that the variants punning and panding preserved the bimoric nature of the Punic word. Punning. Okay, we get a little paradigm here. Punningas, vocative punning. Punninga. Punningas, punningus. Maybe we've had a nga. Punningai. Punningo, instrumental. There's our da and a here, although different grade. And punningos, punningans, genitive o, nasalized like punningamas, and punningamis. Instead of the bs, we've got m endings. Anyway, a nice little side trip there. So that would explain why it could be a plural form. We don't Well, we do say monies,
Posen koster 2 kroner.
but not to mean money that we're looking for, trying to collect. Posen koster 2 kroner. What is posen?
Posen.
Costs. This is a Latin word. Koster. And it's going to be 2 crowns.
Den koster bare 8 kroner.
Den will be this. Koster bare 8 kroner. Only 8 crowns. Den koster
Kroner.
bare 8 kroner. Den koster bare 8 kroner. Bare, like our bear, meaning just. So what kind of a word is it there? Is it just adverb? Probably.
What the
Har du
bare?
en krone?
Right.
I think it's describing what kind of ate. The barely ate or something.
Vil du ha en eller 2 poser?
En eller 2 poser. What that is again? What? Oh, bags. Do you want to have en eller 2? 1 or 2 bags.
Pengene ligger på bordet.
Pengene ligger på bordet. That's a plural one, but I guess it means money. So at one point, pennies or coins, and now just money. Pengene ligger på bordet.
Det er en dyr restaurant.
It is, I think it is dyr, like deer. It is a deer restaurant.
Lunsjen er gratis.
Lunsjen er gratis. Lunch, I think, is free. So 2 nice.
Oh wow, we see that in Germanic toya, but also that's in Irish. The word spelled D-A-O-R, deer. Expensive.
D-A-O-R. Yeah.
D.
D-A-O-R.
Yes.
Yeah. From Irish dyr, servile, unfree, serf. Dear, high priced. So an accidental sound alike, it seems. With English deer. Lunsjen.
Den hesten er dyr.
Dem. Den or dem?
Den hesten er dyr.
Okay.
Den
Hestene.
hesten er dyr.
So, oh, look at that. Looks like a double determiner. What's this mean, Levi? Den hesten er dyr.
Den hesten
Hest is a horse.
Then the horses are expensive. Or the
Looks-
one horse.
Yes,
The
definitely.
horse is expensive.
I think den is a pointing word. So this horse or that horse, not sure. That horse. Okay. Er dyr. It looks like it could be, is an animal too, if we think of Tia.
Den er helt gratis.
But that's spelled different. Den er helt gratis. Looks like an adverbial T, and hel like heil and whole. It is wholly free.
Har du noen poser?
Noen looks like none, but it means any. Do you have any bags? Har du noen poser?
Har du noen poser?
Noen poser.
Kaffen er gratis.
The coffee is free. Another one with 2 long words. Kaffen er gratis.
Den hunden er dyr.
The dog. So it looks like that same thing
Den.
happening. It's the original, well, is it really the same word twice? This den has a pointing force that the
Hunden.
other doesn't. So there you could have your differentiate, your Germanic. Sur. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sirsche there is a name, freedom. Dude seems not such a great name. Huh? But if your den was in front of the noun, then it was more pointy, more deictic, whereas if your noun had the den attached to it, I think you could do that with Latin too, although there was really no determiner, no article like we have here in Germanic. In Latin, it lacked that. The Greek had, I think, freedom of its little article placement. Den hunden er dyr. Den hunden
Hvor er pengene?
Where's the money? Hvor er pengene?
En pose.
Hurrah.
What's the etymology of this en pose
Let's look at
for
it.
a bag?
I think it's going to be connected to French poche and ultimately from Celtic.
Hmm.
Not pose, but Norwegian. Bokmål. Posi, Old Norse. Germanic puso. Uncertain has been compared to puko, and in European beuswell. Alright, so Germanic puso. Look at that double long vowel marking here. Bag, sack, scrip. Script's not a word I know. This O had an inherent nasal underlying, and you can see that in the other case forms. The stem forming suffix here. Like we have in Cicero and Plato, when you add a suffix, you've got the N reappearing. Pusanuns. Look at this. Nice Germanic synonyms in words for bags. What a time to be alive.
En kurv.
Kurv, like kopp,
Sjokolade.
chocolate,
En pære.
pære.
En kurv. En appelsin.
With that head initial compound.
En matbutikk.
Matbutikk.
Hva kjøper du på matbutikken?
Okay. So boutique and
Matbutikken.
kjøper from loanwords. Hva kjøper du på matbutikken?
Sjokolade. En banan.
En banan.
En kurv. En appelsin.
Appelsin. Kind of upstepping tone.
Sjokoladen koster 5 kroner.
Sjokoladen, the chocolate, costs 5 kroner.
En matbutikk.
Matbutikk.
En appelsin.
En appelsin.
En banan.
Banan.
Frukten ligger i kurvene.
So that's the fruit singular lies in the baskets. I think fruit used as a collective for many pieces of fruit. The fruit is in the baskets. Lying in the baskets.
Katten er 3 bananer lang.
Do you get a meaning from that? Katten er 3 bananer lang. Katten.
The cat is 3 bananas long.
A lovely sentence. Yeah, exactly.
Jeg er en banan.
I'm a banana. Jeg er en banan.
Det er en matbutikk her.
Okay, there is. It is in Norwegian. Eskipt. We say there is. Supermarket.
Matbutikk.
Grocery store.
Hvorfor selger de brune bananer?
Hvorfor selger de brune bananer? Seljan. I think it originally just had a palatal y. It looks like it's developed into a stop, which is kind of like salir salgo, if it is that way around. Seljer is related to our word sell. Originally meant give. Verb.
Oh, that would make sense because we do know that the Norse languages developed a G out of the Y that was there before. As example, Middle English had A or I or something for egg, and modern German has I, but the Norse form, which English reborrowed in, was egg.
Yeah,
So
the input was a little different, I think. I believe the underlying structure there was, I don't know if the O was long or short, but it had a long y sound, I believe, in the reconstructed. So that gives a double, I think the word is like, it gives in Gothic a DDJ cluster. And in North Germanic, yeah is the outcome. And that's because it had a gem in it at the older stage. So a little different from here. Selja is Seljanal, and that has hard languages. So maybe there's that development in Spanish. Salir, to exit, to leave, go out. Salgo could be due to some Germanic influence. Maybe it's just a common thing to happen. But we could also compare tener and tengo, where the g comes from depalatalization of the nasal. Tiene, tenye, tenet. According to some. Oh, there was that one author of the Spanish book I showed you. His name was Penny.
Ralph Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That word again. Theme word for the day.
Jeg kjøper aldri pærer, bare epler.
I believe in the UK the name spelled R-A-L-P-H is actually pronounced Rafe. So maybe Rafe Penny.
Jeg kjøper
Yes,
aldri
I
pærer,
believe so.
bare epler.
Bare epler. Aldri. Here's what we're looking for. Considering that ikke might be, aldri is the negative determiner. I buy no pears, only apples. So not any sounds better. We sort of break up the negation, or just shift it over, and the any kind of stays as a trace or a harmonic part. Pears, only apples. And note the umlaut of apple. I hope that's true in the singular too. Is it still umlaut? I never buy. Okay, wrong there. Not a noun determiner, but never. Aldri.
Pærene ligger i kurven.
Pærene ligger i kurven. The pears, plural definite, are in the basket.
Vil du ha den sjokoladen eller denne sjokoladen?
Vil du ha den sjokoladen eller denne sjokoladen? Sjokoladen. I already said it. Here, this is very instructive. The contrast denne. It's kind of interesting. That is the shorter one. This is the lengthened one. Which is kind
That
of similar.
chocolate or this chocolate?
Isn't that how it is in Irish too? Sheishin? Sheishin means that. What's this? Shaw.
Yeah.
Different word. Is it shawshin?
Shaw is
Here is.
no. She shin is a thing that is said. But she is just the pronoun, and then it uses the shin, like modifies it. And shin is for that. Sho is for this.
Shin is that. Sheishin means?
But I don't think you would
What does sheishin mean?
like that.
Okay.
Shin is. But I don't think you would say she sho for this thing.
Alright.
I think you'd just say sho by itself.
Before or after? Så väldigt. Handsome. Check. Mannen hennes, not huns.
Han spiser en appelsin.
He eats an orange.
Denne butikken har grønne kurver.
Denne butikken har grønne.
Denne butikken har grønne kurver.
Green baskets. Denne butikken har grønne kurver.
Hun har et eple og en appelsin.
She has an apple and an orange. Hun har et eple og en appelsin.
En appelsin er en frukt.
An orange is a fruit. En appelsin er en frukt. En.
Har dere noen røde pærer?
Okay. Do you have any red pears? Har dere noen røde pærer?
Jeg kjøper aldri pærer, bare epler.
Never buy pears, only apples. Her husband, mannen, noun first, definite. Hennes, possessor, like a second determiner, following. Or is it an adjective? What is hennes? What word class? Valdig, veldig, veldig. Check. Oh, check, maybe chic. Maybe an approximation of the French. Or just a look-alike. Kek And quicker. We've looked this up before, it seems.
Et skjørt.
Shirt.
En kunde. En dress.
Kunde for woman? Is that right?
Et skjørt.
Dress for a suit.
Et skjørt.
En dress. En kjole ikke en dress.
Kjole was a dress is not a dress is not a dress. Oh, we do keep the DR cluster. Oh, it's the other way around. Never mind. DR is preserved, but RD gets simplified, I think. Maybe it depends on which side of stress it's on. But it's dress is not a suit. False friend there. Customer, right. That's like the German Kunde. Oh, you know what verb Kunde is related to? Kunde means customer. German as well as Norwegian. Kunne.
En kunde.
Kunde. No, the ND cluster is preserved. What verb do you think that... It comes from a verb root. Which one do you expect that is? And what's the English cognate?
Vi har mange nye kunder. Har han en dress?
Same initial, at least.
Yes.
In dress, does he have a suit? Har han
But
en
our
dress?
customer is from Latin.
Ser jeg bra ut I denne?
Consuetudinem. Consuetudo.
Cool.
Syria. That's not for kunde. It's from können. Or kennen, rather. That's right. Kennen. Someone known. A known person is my guess there.
Okay.
Kennen being, of course, in the same family. What would be the English cognative kunde? The same form there. Kunde, kundo. West Germanic kunto. Yes. Kutha was Old English. Kunto. Acquaintance, friend. Yeah, a known one. Tomo. The tomo of tomodachi means to know.
Okay.
So same root idea there. Kunde came from an original word for friend, came to mean customer. How nice. A little different thing though. Ser jeg bra ut I denne? So if you know that it was kutha in Old English, what would that give?
Kutha. Is this a modern word?
It would be kutha. What'd you say?
Oh. Kuth.
Kuth, yep. Kuth and uncouth.
I feel like uncouth is more common.
Probably. That's my impression too. Isn't that nice? Kunde, kennen. So the original sense of können was knowing how. And we also get from that word kunst when it gets the sense of a special ability. A Künstler, kunst is that which takes special talent, special ability to produce.
Oh, question.
Ut, bra.
How come Kuth did not great vowel shift to owl, right? Kuth to house.
That does seem to be exceptional.
But Kuth doesn't become cow.
We'd normally expect that, wouldn't we? Good eye. Kuthling. Kunnan. Let's just go to Kuth, I guess. We'll have to enter that. Expect a link. Maybe they're just cognates. Yeah, this is Kuth, not... Okay, that Kuth, familiar, intimate. Kunthas. Maybe it tells us about the development here. Ultimately from gnich, to know. Doesn't tell us about sense development. Might have to do with that VK. Don't know. Do I look good in this? Was the close? Was the longer form denne means this? Do I look good in this? Ser jeg bra ut I denne?
Frakken koster 900 kroner.
The Frakken is, okay, rock is related and frock.
Frakken.
Coat here. The coat costs. What do you think, Levi? 900 kroner. How much is that?
900.
I agree.
De pærene ser gode ut. De pærene ser gode
Gode. Oh, it's deleted there too.
ut. De pærene ser gode ut.
Ser gode ut. De pærene ser gode ut.
Vi venter ved klesbutikken.
So I think if you had a neuter noun, goot, G-O-D-T, you'd hear the dental there. Vi venter ved klesbutikken.
Venter.
Waiting. Waiting with or by the fleece. Did you start?
Oh, I noticed another. Yeah, I just was kind of reading the sentence. I did notice another word that's similar to an Irish word.
Kunden vil ha et rødt skjerf.
Mentioned here or just happens to look?
It was in a previous sentence, but the Irish word bra means like good or.
Oh, okay.
It's slightly better than gamai. Yeah, B-R-E-A.
E-A-G-H?
No, just like that.
E-A.
I put it. Gabra. There's no G-H. It's just B. I put it in the chat. B-R-E-A.
Bregda. There used to be T-H or C-H. Oh, no, this is the modern inflection still. Fine, excellent. Yeah. The obsolete spelling with a G-H. Jonas, bra. Kunden vil ha et rødt skjerf.
Kunden vil ha et rødt skjerf.
Skjerf. The customer wants to have a red scarf. Skjerf.
Kjolen hennes ser forferdelig ut.
Kjolen, that is the dress of hers, hennes, ser forferdelig ut.
Kjolen hennes ser forferdelig ut.
Forferdelig ut. It looks something. Ser ut, you know the German equivalent there?
What's the meaning of this sentence?
That it looks so-and-so. Looks good, looks expensive. Ser ut. In the chat.
Yeah, aussehen.
Genau. Sieht aus, aussehen. Kjolen hennes ser forferdelig ut. Looks terrible. Oh, maybe the root of fear in there?
Skjørtet koster 400 kroner.
Skjørtet, silent there at the end, koster 400 kroner. Shirt, so neuter noun, costs. And this costare, I guess, in vulgar Latin. This verb comes from a Latin compound, to stand firm at a price. Costs 400. Well, that's just lost its final 100 kroner.
800 kroner for et skjerf.
800 kroner for a scarf.
100.
800 kroner for et skjerf. 800. 100.
Hvordan ser jeg ut i denne kjolen?
Ser jeg ut i denne kjolen? Hvordan? How?
Hvordan?
Okay, speaking of this word, aussehen, we used to have these T-shirts for a German club, and it said, sehe ich in diesem T-shirt deutsch aus?
Cute.
Mannen kjøper en oransje dress.
Mannen kjøper en oransje dress.
Liker du den klesbutikken?
Kles. So interesting. Why do we get klære versus kles for clothes? What's going on there?
What was the question
Well,
about the clothes word?
we had the word klare before. Klær, rather, meaning clothes. But in the word clothing store, it's
Oh,
kles.
I have a guess.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Maybe.
I'm guessing this one was intervocalic at some point. It would be like klare with like an E on the end or something. And then that deleted. But in the compound,
Okay, I'm
it
lost
was
already. What?
shielded. Uh, this I'm
When
positing there maybe was some sort of final vowel,
but when you say
and so this
this,
R was in.
okay, what's this?
Okay, start again. New sentence. Uh, so in the word for clothing, there is an R. I'm postulating that R may have been intervocalic at some stage, but in the word clothing store, it was effectively shielded from being intervocalic and therefore did not rhodicize.
Okay, very nice. Klæði, klæði. Note that in Icelandic, the written ash is pronounced I as a diphthong. Klæði. A lot of sound alikes there too. Klæðir, klæðum. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's plural. That's not the comparison. Definite klæði, klæðinum. Uh-huh. Klæðis, klæðisins. There is an S. Yeah, so it looks like you got rhoticism happening. Loss of the eth also in Norwegian. Klæði, but we want to see Kliesbutik. It could also be borrowed from a different Germanic language.
Oh, or alternate hypothesis.
Uh-huh.
We saw in the genitive there was an S, so it was what Clavis would be.
Clea. Clydes. In the, let's see, genitive. Yes, good. Clydes. Exactly right. Clydes. Could be, and this may, it looks here like it's a difference between bokmål and nynorsk, the two forms of the two standardized forms of Norwegian. Clear from this one, Klede. No, spelling is Cle. Yeah, Klade, but the D is dropped in this form. Cle, and then you'd get either, so maybe the genitive marker, or maybe just a little bit of glue in a compound, like we had in German. What was our example for the S? Geburtstag.
Geburtstag.
Die Geburt, der Geburtstag. Either one is a likely candidate. Liker du den klesbutikken?
Det er mange kunder i klesbutikken. Kunder klesbutikken.
Definite, right. There are many customers. Mange.
Det er mange kunder i klesbutikken.
So our word many looks like an old money, whereas mange looks like the I and the G traded places. No, hard to know which is older. Mangi, mange. Oh, menge would be from there too, the amount. Mange kunder i klesbutikken. Det er mange kunder i klesbutikken.
Hun har det gule skjørtet.
She has that yellow skirt. Hun har det gule skjørtet. Skjørtet. Skjørtet, it should be, not T.
Denne klesbutikken er for barn.
Er for barn. Denne klesbutikken er for barn.
Har han en dress?
Does she have? Has she en dress? Har han en dress?
Hvordan ser jeg ut i denne kjolen?
How do I look in this dress?
Nope, suit.
So I'll say what?
Suit, not dress.
No, you're thinking of,
Kjole.
this word means dress.
Okay.
You're thinking of the word spelled like this. It
Oh.
means suit.
Yes, I was 2 sentences behind on the.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, I saw it when you had a sentence that was
Excellent. So,
the other one.
keeping with today's theme of not too difficult, not too taxing, let's do a bit of Czech. Were you about to say something?
We can do Sanskrit, or we can even read from the book if you want. We don't have to make it
All right.
super easy. That was just what I felt like in the moment.
First, all right. Well, I feel like some Czech either way.
Okay.
There we go. I'm sure it'll have its subtlety too, although it looks much more straightforward, at least in these early stages, than Russian and Ukrainian do. So that's nice. Let's do a bit of to be. Is this beautiful silent J.
On je hezký.
Maybe I've joked about this before. It reminds me of J and Silent Bob. Here we've got silent J. Do you remember the copuliforms in Czech?
On je hezký.
Here's one.
Yeah.
Hezký.
Nice, handsome. Husky. Don't do this to me.
Oh, since this chapter is called "To Be" and the little symbol was the skull on the little icon, I just now got that.
A little Hamlet illusion. How nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Word is new. Ooh, boy. Slovo. To slovo.
Slovo je
Nové.
nové.
Nové. Nice and open that vowel there. Nové. Nové. So yeah is a copula. Third singular, present. The word is new.
So to means the.
Yes. Directly from Indo-European. Tod.
Matches the Greek.
I would guess. Yes, because the ancestor was Tod. That gives Tod
Okay.
in Sanskrit. That's the directest path. Maybe it's a little more twisted than that, but it's nothing surprising that it would look like that Greek word. Unchanged inheritance from a few millennia before.
Ona.
What's the English cognate?
I don't know. Wait.
Take it.
That.
Yes, exactly. This one. That. Katarzyna. So, ona je.
Ona je Kateřina.
Katarzyna. And was to, what's and?
A.
On je.
On je
Matěj.
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 On je Matěj.
He is Matěj. That is it. Okay, to je. Ona.
To je
Ona.
ono.
For neuter.
Ona je Kateřina a on je Matěj.
Ona je Kateřina a on je Matěj. And he is Matěj. That's it. To je ono.
Je ono.
To je ono. To je ono.
Ano, to je ono.
To
Je
je.
ona.
Yes, that's it. Oopsie. Not that issue. Ano.
Je to jiné slovo.
Jiné.
Wait, so the
Jiné.
pronouns are the same as Russian.
Slovo.
Very close.
Je to jiné slovo.
Jiné slovo. Yeah, it is the something word. New. No.
Je to jiné slovo.
Different.
To slovo je nové. To slovo je nové. To je špatné slovo. To je špatné
Ne slovo.
slovo.
It is špatné word. A bad word. That is a bad word. To.
On je hezký.
He is handsome.
Ano, to je ono.
Ano. To
Je
je
ono.
That is it. Cool. Nice and fun.
Yeah, I think the only difference between the pronouns here in Czech versus in Russian is that in Russian the in the
Staré
middle is
auto.
shaped like an H.
Stare. Old. Yeah. So how does it come to be that in Indo-European, likely, the adjective endings and the noun endings matched if the words were in the same inflection class, but you see systematically different endings here in Czech. Hold on.
Staré.
Stare vino.
Vino.
Why is it not staro vino?
Špatné víno.
There again. Špatné vino. Bad wine. Yes, please. Bad child. Okay. Dítě.
Staré.
Not old.
Špatné.
Špatně. Dítě.
Dítě. Staré víno. Víno.
Old wine. Any guesses? Any thoughts? I mean, I certainly don't know.
Uh,
Could be.
Let's see.
Špatné.
Maybe
Odpoledne.
there was an ending that matched at some point that spatne had stare. Those all have stress on them.
They do.
So maybe
Well,
it was
no,
like spatneo or
it's
something.
no, it's not stress. That shows a long vowel. The acute.
Okay.
If you listen, I
It's
think
long. Maybe there was like an O on the end that got deleted and made the E long.
So you think maybe an older neo, but why then did the? I mean, then it's still different from the noun. So neo, you're saying neo for the adjective ending, if I understand right, right? But then why wasn't it the same ending?
This right. Oh.
I mean, it could be.
Well, having the O.
So
Maybe it had an O on the end.
what did?
Hezké dítě.
And the O.
I understand the O part, but I don't say maybe that had an O. What do you mean?
Maybe the verb spatne had an O so that it would match the noun, and then the O went away because the noun ended with O.
Not a verb though. Never mind.
Okay.
Hezké dítě. Dítě.
Pretty child. Hezké.
Staré město.
Staré město. Staré is old city. The wine. The vino. Well, think about how in German you also had originally nouns and adjectives that agreed, but adjectives carry different endings from nouns now in modern German.
Nové dítě.
Nové dítě. And these look more alike. This dítě. Is it singular or plural? Oh, we don't need articles. I'm just going to say new child. Nové dítě. So not just a singular neuter ending. More complex than that. Bad is špalodné. Špatné dítě. Sh. Špatné. Dě. Dí is long. Dítě. And the tě with the prepalatal as this hot check. Špatné dítě. Old wine is staré. Víno. Víno. Let's see how feminine goes.
Jiná mladá holka.
Mladá holka girl. Jiná a different.
Mladá.
Another young girl. Mladá. Bad thing. Špatná věc.
Špatná věc.
Špatná věc. Consonant noun.
Hezká věc.
Pretty thing. Good thing. Nice thing. Not good thing, you idiot. It means nice thing. Bad street. Špatná.
Špatná.
Well, nice and good do have
Ulice.
different meanings.
They do, but what's the difference
Jiná žena.
when we're not given any other context? Jiná žena.
Jiná.
Yeah, the different one. A different woman. It's a nice žena word. Different woman. So this one I know from other languages that it had a long a at the end. Gune. Oh, maybe it lengthened Greek though, but the basic well, no, this one is
Žena.
not originally feminine. It's a good one to look at. Not a good one to look at. Blah. Nice thing. Okay, what's nice?
Hezká. 5.
Stará žena.
Hezká.
Stará.
Stará
Yeah.
žena.
Old woman. And again, long for the adjective, short on the noun. It's
Špatná žena.
the general theme.
Špatná ulice.
Špatná bad street.
Špatná
Ulice.
Špatná ulice. Stará věc.
Stará věc.
Stará ulice.
Stará ulice.
Stará ulice.
Jiná ulice.
Jiná ulice. Another street.
Hezká věc.
Yes. Hezká. Nice thing. Is it good or nice?
Hezká.
Which one? Hezká is nice.
Very good. Hezká, hezká.
Do you remember the word for good?
Dobré. Dobrá.
Starý člověk.
Starý člověk. Here we go. Man. Person or man?
Člověk.
Person, man. Okay, don't tell me I'm getting it wrong. Old man or old person. Člověk. Different. Jiný.
Jiný.
Stroj.
Stroj.
You destroy the machine. I wonder if it's from struire, the Latin word for build. Stroj.
Oh yeah, it also looks like an Esperanto plural.
Starý strom.
Starý strom. Tree, I think. Old tree. Young tree. No. Oh, mladý.
Mladý. Strom.
Oh, the Proto-Slavic form is unclick-onable.
You can't click on it, but it's just not going to take you anywhere. A dead link.
Velký stroj.
Velký.
Stroj.
Stroj was machine. This one means velký, large. Young man. Mladý.
Mladý.
Muž.
Muž.
Muž, die voice.
Jiný muž.
Jiný muž. Different.
Muž. Mladý muž.
Mladý, young man.
Jiný člověk.
Jiný člověk.
Jiný člověk.
Different person.
Starý stroj.
Starý stroj. Old machine. Good machine. Was it dobrý, right? Yep. Dobrý stroj. Different man. Jiný muž. Jiný. Cool. Kukmal, bukmal. Mul. Leisure.
En ball.
En hage.
Hage. Hecke, we have in German.
Et spill.
Lazurae.
Indeed. It's Spiel. Nice and short there. Spiel, Spiel. En ball.
En ball.
Ball.
En ball. Gutten leker med ballen.
Gutten is the boy. singular. Leker med ballen. Plays with the ball. Hage.
En hage.
Hage. Hmm?
If we're learning bokmål, how different is nynorsk?
I do not know. The only difference is the one we just saw when we looked at Klee. I think this one is nynorsk.
Oh.
So, the only difference I'm aware of now is that the Kleivi word became Klee here versus klare, which is not insignificant. Klær, rather. Klær in the literary style, Klee in the spoken style.
Hun vinner.
Hun vinner. That wins.
Vinner.
She wins. Sins.
Søsteren min vinner.
Søsteren. My sister.
Søsteren min vinner.
Okay, and the possessor postponed. Sister mine.
Dere har en fargerik hage.
Dere har en fargerik hage. Dere is you. Looks like a German third plural. You have a colorful, say garden,
Hage.
hedge. Oh, hedge and hecke are the cognates, I think.
Hvor mange gitarer har du nå?
Hvor mange gitarer har de nå? How many? Same word. Or guitars do you have now? Have you now? Okay, not quite. Do you have now?
Hvem vinner?
Who wins? Hvem vinner?
Hva spiller dere?
What are you playing?
De spiller ball.
De spiller ball. They're playing ball.
Ballen er rød og blå.
Ballen er rød og blå. The ball is red and blue. Ballen er rød og blå.
Jeg spiller gitar i spillet.
Interesting. What does this mean? Jeg spiller gitar i spillet. If you're there, I cannot hear you.
Spiller du gitar?
Spiller du gitar?
Hun er ute i hagen.
She is out in the garden.
Vi spiller et spill.
We play the game. Vi spiller et spill.
Broren min spiller gitar.
Broren min spiller gitar.
Hvem vinner spillet?
Who wins the game? Who's winning? Hvem vinner spillet? Du har a colorful garden in fargerik hage. Hage. It is a nice garden. Det er en brå, fin hage. Oh, are we on a new? I guess it would have told us there. Yeah, leisure.
En hage.
Hage.
En fotball.
Fotball.
En park. En fotball.
Fotball.
Jeg går gjennom parken.
Go toward the park, I think. Or I walk. Gjennom.
Gjennom.
Through. Getting that.
Disse bilene er fantastiske.
Okay, this must be the closer one, this car, and it's neuter, so we get the S instead of the N. Disse bilene. It's plural, these cars. That's what it is. And cars mark definite. Plural. These cars er fantastiske. Are fantastic.
Du vinner og jeg taper.
Du vinner, og jeg taper. You are winning, and I'm losing.
Taper.
De taper aldri.
They never lose. De taper aldri.
Barna leter etter fotballen sin.
Leter. Is that a going word?
Leter.
Looking. The children look after their soccer balls. Children, the child, are looking for there. Fotballen.
Dette er ikke en sport.
Dette er ikke en sport with that retroflection, RT, sport, fusing into a single concept. Dette means this is not a sport. Ikke, pointing right, or negating rightward there.
Jeg taper aldri.
Jeg taper aldri. I never lose. Jeg taper aldri.
Jenta synger for katten sin.
Jenta, the girl, sings for her cat.
Mannen synger utenfor kafeen.
Mannen synger
Mannen synger utenfor kafeen.
utenfor kafeen. Okay, kafeen. Single F. Mannen synger. Synger, S-Y.
Mannen synger utenfor kafeen.
Utenfor kafeen.
Barna spiller fotball i parken.
The children play football. In the park.
Denne lekeplassen er fantastisk.
This playground is fantastic.
Oh,
Denne
we should look at
lekeplassen
that.
er fantastisk. What's that?
We should look at that.
Liker du
Text.
sport?
Again, that the Hunmin Jong-un, with the Japanese translation.
Okay. Let me finish this round and then we'll turn to that. Liker
Okay.
du sport? Do you sports?
Nei, vi taper ikke ofte.
Nei, vi taker ikke ofte. Ha en fantastisk dag. No ending there. Thank you. Let's get it in. Okay. No, yeah, no augment or ending.
Vi synger.
Vi synger.
Det er et spill, ikke en sport.
Det er et spill, ikke en sport. En
Fotball er en sport.
fotball er en sport.
En and synger ikke.
Duck doesn't sing. En and synger ikke.
Mannen synger utenfor kafeen.
Men synger utenfor kafé accented N is the ending. Outside of the cafe. Alright, and let me go. I hear someone meowing. Tend to that real quick while we hear the sutras.
Okay.
And then we can turn to the Hunmin. Be right back.
येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चाज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिम् पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम् ॐ ऐउण रुद्रक एवों ऐऔज हयवरट लण ञमङणनम झभय घढधश जबगडदश ख फ छ ठ थ चटतव कपय शशसर हल इति माहेश्वराणि सूत्राणि.
Okie doke. So, what would you like to look at in particular on here, if you're there?
Well, I think we did the molar sounds, the
Molar sound.
velars. The velars.
Those
So
are
I
the very
think next
first.
we need to look at the alveolars.
And when you say look at, what specifically?
Well, what did we do last time when we reviewed these handful of sounds that were phonetic? Right, so we've got do, tan, and tun. for this.
True enough. You have that in your spreadsheet there?
Yes, I have it.
What's the title of that? Just Hunmin? Shit. There it is. Tiget, do. There we go. And tan. Right. So there we go. The pinyin modern is good. And let's just put them on different lines to make it even easier. And I'm going to move this a little closer. Give our eyes a treat. And the gyu lines up rather with chiu in this one. The very first set of examples, kwai. And initial eng giving 0 in the velars. And now here, so look at the outcome. Voiceless T. Is this a sound change when we've got a D in the rightmost column?
Oh, I guess not, right? Because this D is really telling us unaspirated.
Exactly. And central diphthong going to oo is what we have in both the Chinese forms. So essentially the same sound. My goodness, why does that jump like that? Not feeling that. Okay, and now how about the second example word for the voiced value of tigut? The reading now is tan, and that comes from dumb. Is that a sound
So
change?
that one does represent a change. Yes, it does.
What kind of change?
It became aspirated.
That's
when
right.
it was not before.
For the aspirate tiut, tun, as given tun. So a different spelling. Is that a sound change?
No, it is not.
Yeah, only apparently so. However, what is new is the oo, the labial glide, coloring the vowel. So this one in the middle here, this next one, would have been something like na with the falling tone, I think.
Okay.
You just supply that.
Okay, Wiktionary didn't list a form for this one, so that's why I didn't put anything.
That is prudent. Better to not just make up your own. I am going to make one up here. So I'm marking it differently. Instead of slashes, putting it in brackets and adding a star. Not attested directly. Anything else you want to say or ask or discuss on the dentals? Why don't you read that passage for us? From here, from the letter names to the descriptions.
Okay.
I think on the document, just refresh yourself.
这个车音如豆自出发上，并出如弹自出发上。
Very nice. No feedback there. Keep going.
What is the aspirated tigut called?
Tiut. I'll put it in RR there in the chat. So it's that same good syllable written, of course, with this aspirate letter, but this one doesn't have a velar stop on it. Tiut was apparently available. Oddly.
Tiut. 是因如吞次出发生，念是因如那次出发生。
Okay, that sounds good to me there. 絶音でどの字の初めに発する音と同じである。Note the stacking no phrases here. どの字の初め。
I guess I did have one question about the velars.
Velars
or the dentals.
Okay.
This sh which describes. Oh, we discussed that before. That's the tongue.
The tongue.
These are tongue tip
Tongue
sounds.
sounds. Yep.
Sure. Okay. So then on to the Chun-in.
Sounds good.
Right?
Yep, they're on screen.
Okay. 人因如别自处发生，并书如不自处发生。
すれば。
业纯因如泡自处发生。
Oh, 飘. Yeah.
泡
Right. It is, no, we did look that up because you had 飘 in first tone, and that is, I think, the one intended, but the more common reading for modern Chinese has a falling tone, but that's for a different word. 飘 is what we should use here, I think.
泡
飘自出发生.
命纯因如你自处发生。
你自出发生. Let's see. 命は Jinon maybe? Don't know the reading. De. Mi or B no Ji no hajime ni hassuru oto to onaji de aru. Something とは、現代の言語学で言うところの両 lip on に当たる is called the two lip sound bilabial. Maybe we can get a reading for this. I go to Jisho, probably not. Oh, how nice. Yoshin-on, bilabial. Okay, very thorough coverage. Ryoshin-on. Ryoshin also means parents. Different shin though. Togoku, sei, in, shiki, kanji, on de, 言えば、ぴゃうみの音は、それぞれ、oh, this is a tofu. ポン something みである。Oh, this is the zero. This is Middle Korean writing. So something like bel, probably. Then po for the step. And then probably a pyo or byo for the third one. And then mi. Not ming, but mi for this one. Okay, should we go to the palatals? What's the letter called? Chiot? Chigut? Do you know this one's name?
Which one?
The first
Oh,
palatal.
should I call? It wouldn't be church, would it?
You wouldn't pronounce it with an affricate in the coda. Chiut. There we go. It would be a T sound, but of course the same letter. Chiut is the name.
Yeah. Oh, because this, just like the shiot, becomes a T in the coda.
Yep. Anything other than a velar or a labial or nasal.
Okay. 切齿音如许次出发声，出如此子出发声。
Close, but what's the reading for the character word?
字
Zi, the character 此, meaning like love toward children, is what this one means. In fact, I think these two words, there's an etymological connection. The 字 originally meant like raise or nourish a child, and this one means affection for a child. 此字, but that's just an accent. Here it's talking about that sound of that particular word.
Okay. Oh, up, down.
此字
Nope. 此字
Right. Oh, look at those wrong place. let us turn here and examine the correspondences for the labials piei, piei, and bu. So the first one, written P here, written B. Is that a sound change? From Middle Chinese P to modern B, are you there? Okay.
What about it?
Is this a sound change?
Still no.
Okay. If you said no already, I didn't hear you there.
Oh, I said it when we dealt with the alveolars.
Yes, but this is a different correspondence, isn't it? For those of us, for those watching, let's be very explicit.
Oh, I
about-
suppose so, but it falls into the same class of things that are written with a P in the middle Chinese form and then are represented with what seems to be the voice letter, but really is indicating an aspirated, so it's not a change.
How about the word step here? Bua to bo. Same letter. Is it a sound change?
Yeah, it lost the O.
I mean the initial word.
Oh, the initial no. Still, but
Well, now you're contradicting yourself.
what?
You were just saying that this P on the left equals this B on the right. So how can it be?
Yeah.
How can this not be a sound change then?
So this B on the. So two things give one output.
Right, but if they're the same here, does that mean that these had the same initial sound? The ones
No,
on
they didn't. They have merged.
Do you see the contradiction? If A and B are not the same, but
Uh-huh.
C is the same as A, then can C also be the same as B?
Hmm. So they were different before, but in modern, they're the same. They have merged.
Okay,
Two
so,
distinct things became both are.
all right, good.
Unless I'm wrong.
No,
Am I
no,
wrong?
that part I think you are absolutely correct. But then the next step is from, and step indeed. That's what the character means. It's the word for step or two step. Is it when we go from this B to this B, is that a sound change?
Yes, it is, because the first B was voiced, and
Exactly.
the second B is just unaspirated.
That is correct. There is a phonological restructuring that happened, meaning it looks the same, but that's misleading. Different values for these letters.
Okay.
So the aspirate one, piao, was an old piao. PH to P. It's just a respelling. No difference, really. And M to M, same thing, as far as we can tell. And then we were on the dentals. Tuk gave G, and Z gave C. And let's put those on separate rows for clarity. So what's going on? From C to
Oh,
letter T.
wow. Now we seem to have the first one, not a sound change, right? We just are writing unaspirated by using the J. But
Well,
the second one is a sound change. We went from voiced
hold
to
on,
aspirated.
hold on. What is the pronunciation of the Mandarin J?
G. It's an affricate. G. Unaspirated affricate
What's its place of
of
articulation?
palatal.
Okay, and what do we have on the left?
Uh, oh, an unpalatalized one, but also palatalized. Good point.
What is an unpalatable, please?
A dental.
Right. What do we have in Korean?
Palatalized one. Here.
Okay, and how about from DZ on the left to C on the right?
It has gone from voiced to aspirated. And
That's
it is also palatalized. It was also originally not palatalized.
really? Why do you say that?
Wait. Oh, C is not in the same row as. It's not in the palatal row. That's just a regular S sound. So
Which is
disregard my claim about
indeed.
palatalization, please.
It is not. Yeah. Okay, and then Tim giving chin. What's that?
Just palatalized, stayed aspirated.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the next chunk. We read this bit. Can you read it for the chiot? I guess would be the name of this one.
气有齿音如亲子出发声，
Okay.
气有齿音如数字出发声，
How's this one
并
go?
书如写。Which one?
We highlighted in blue in a moment.
Okay. The
After
short one.
in the
Ru.
shiot part after
Su.
ru.
Su.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
What's the spelling?
what I have in my nose?
What do you have?
XU1.
Shu.
That's what I have.
How's it pronounced?
We can look it up.
No. How is it pronounced?
Su.
It sounds like you're saying two. Can you be nice and firm in the mic there?
Su. Su.
It's not the right vowel. What does XU denote?
Oh yes. It's I forgot. It's the E vowel.
There we go. It's a
Xu.
shu. That's right. Okay. 如虚字出发声，并书如写字出发声。So let's go through this set and then we'll switch back. So we'll actually be the first three there. For shu shiot, shu, this is correct. XU. What's the change that's taking place from S to X?
Palatal.
Pretty much. That's about it. And note how the input there has S followed by E, so a good candidate to palatalize. And then from Zia to Xie. What's going on here? Hello?
Yes.
What's going on with Z to X?
Oh, I thought you were reading the chat because the most amazing,
Oh, hi.
What
is going
most
on?
amazing YT is saying what's going on.
Indeed, I did not see.
So we were just looking at some ancient Korean from the 1400s and the resultant Chinese.
But we're about to go
and
back.
soon, we're fixing to go back to Duolingo.
Let's just talk about ZIA. Let's wrap it up. That's the very last one. For this group.
Yeah.
What's the sound change going on?
It palatalizes, and I think it also devoices.
I agree. X is not a voiced sound. Okay. Most amazing YT. YouTube, Young Turk, I wonder. We're gonna do some more Norwegian.
En radio. Musikk.
Et piano.
So, neuter, noun for that instrument.
En radio.
Radio. Musikk
Musikk.
Mamma er på radio.
på radio. Mom is on the radio. We need the word the. We don't say on radio.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Radio.
Et piano.
Et piano.
Dette er sangen din.
Dette. So the closer one. This is sangen din. Your bed. Song. Seng is bed.
Unnskyld, hva heter denne sangen?
Unnskyld, hva heter denne sangen? Unnskyld, hva heter denne sangen? What's the name of this song?
Broren hennes spiller gitar i et band.
Brother plays guitar in the band.
Jeg synger i et stort kor.
Jeg synger i et stort kor. Sure.
Oh,
Stort.
do we have an English cognate to this spiller and like spielen in German?
Maybe spell. Spille. Spellen. Middle Low German. Spille. Middle
What?
pitch.
Yeah.
Spelen. Spillon. Maybe to spell also. Spill game and on, the form of verb, play, dance, move. Old English. Spillen. Spiel. Apparently. Whatever that is. There is a word, but it's not part of my language. Jeg synger i et stort kor.
Dette er ikke mitt piano.
Mitt is mine. Dette er ikke mitt piano.
Musikken kommer fra det rommet.
The music is coming from the room. That room. Det rommet. Oh, it would just be rommet if it was the room.
Koret mitt synger sanger fra radioen.
Mitt synger. Koret mitt synger. Mitt. My choir. Synger sanger fra radioen. Sing songs.
Radio. Oh wow, we have an O and an E next to each other here. Radio.
Yeah, radion. I don't think the E is really sounded.
Koret mitt synger sanger fra radioen.
Radion.
Dette koret er fantastisk.
Dette koret er fantastisk.
Hvorfor står det et piano i hagen?
Again. Okay, stands that a piano in the yard means why is there? The garden. Sister means søsteren. Søsteren min
Søsteren min vasker
hennes washing her new car. Vasker bilen
sin.
Car of hers. Oops, her new car. Den nye bilen sin.
Det er 2 kvinner og 3 menn i bandet. Er 2 kvinner og 3 menn i koret, bandet. Det er 2 kvinner og 3 menn i bandet.
3 menn i bandet.
Vi hører musikk fra parken.
We hear music from the park.
Jeg spiller gitar, ikke piano.
I play guitar, not piano. Jeg spiller gitar, ikke piano.
Liker du dette bandet?
You like this band. Liker du dette bandet?
Bandet spiller musikk i parken.
I think they're approximating the English ash vowel here. Bandet spiller musikk i parken.
Radioen spiller en sang.
The radio plays a song. Radioen spiller en sang.
Mamma synger i det koret.
Mom sings in that choir. Mamma synger i det koret.
Dette er sangen din.
This is your bed. Oh, interesting. Dette. Maybe there is.
Dette.
Oh, I have a question about the English word choir.
Okay. Song.
It seems to be spelled as
Broren
though
hennes
it's
spiller
pronounced
gitar i et band.
schwa in French.
It would be schwar.
Schwa. Why do you think it's spelled that way? Is that a French word?
From Old French quer chorus. Yes, came from French. Choir. Bror hennes spiller gitarr I et band. Brother plays I et band in a band. Is the meaning.
Musikken kommer fra det rommet.
Coming from that room. Søsteren min
Søsteren min
vasker
vasker
den
den
nye bilen.
nye bilen sin.
Wow, so 3 sort of candidates for the determiner. Den, and then the suffix variant n here on the noun, and then sin also could potentially be a determiner. Den nye bilen.
What is this? Yeah.
Nye. Nye. Can you get it?
Yeah. Oh, there's just the adjective.
New, yeah.
No. Duh.
Dette sangen din.
Dette sangen din. That is your song. This is your song. This is your song. Alright, I'm going to do one more Esperanto. I was getting a little sleepy. And then end the stream there.
Your también.
Places.
Ni vojaĝis norden por viziti Kanadon.
Ni is we. Voyage is future. We will... Oh, no, it's past. We traveled north. Norden. Okay, a new sort of ending, potentially. Northward. We traveled north. Por, in order to... Visiti Kanadon.
Dum vintro, multaj kanadanoj vojaĝas suden.
Kanadanoj vojaĝas suden. How cool. During winter, multaj kanadoj travel. Voyages, not towel. Travel south. So English just an unmarked noun there. Se mi havus tempon, if I have time, mi irus, I would go. Suden, it seems.
Ni ne povis decidi, do ni iris nenien.
Alright, don't know about the second half, but it's we weren't able to decide. What is do? That we didn't go anywhere. Maybe so? That's interesting. We couldn't decide, so we didn't go. We went nowhere. Nice. Nenien. Okay, with that same N directional ending, maybe allative or something. Norden, Suden, nenien.
Kio estas la ĉefurbo de Rusio?
Chefurbo. Oh, Chefurbo. What a cool compound. What? Kio estas is the capital of Russia. Chef.
Oh, the chief.
Yep.
Is English form of this word, right?
Chief, chef. We also have it in kerchief. Jefe. Kerchief is a pickpocket noun, means cover head.
Kiu konsilis al la juna virino ke ŝi iru okcidenten?
Kiu consilis al la juna virino. Consilis would be like give advice. Who advised? Ke ŝi iru, that she would go westward.
Oh, that's cool. So north and south use the Germanic, and it looks like east and west use the Latinate.
Well, have we seen east yet? But yeah, look, definitely the one for west. Good point. Who advised the young woman to go? That she go. Nice, subjunctive in English. Que she iru.
Ŝi.
Occidenten. Go west.
La nordaj landoj de Azio estas malvarmaj dum vintro.
Speaking of Asia, that reminds me, there's another nice augment in German. We talk about Asien for the continent. How do you say in German the adjective Asian, and also the noun, a person from Asia.
I don't know.
Asiatisch, and then
Yeah.
der Asiat, die Asiatin. Not too much else like that. There might not be any other ones. So what would you call the augment to form these derivatives?
Well, that's interesting, right? Because it kind of gets rid of the in here before adding this ot.
True. Unlike Italianisch, it keeps that ien. What else? What other country names end in the ien? Italien.
Spanian.
Yeah, good. That one is different, right? Not Spanienisch, but Spanish. And that one gets truncated too. Spanien, very good. Spanish.
But it doesn't get the ot.
Exactly. At is the bit that's inserted, so I would call this little augment atuk. The U is just a bit of glue to make it pronounceable. We don't need a dash because the K tell us where it goes when it's added.
Okay.
And then another question for an analyst is, what do you make of Italienisch? Does that have an augment or does it just not truncate? It's the morpheme boundaries there. La nordaj landoj de Azio estas malvarmaj dum vintro. Northern, nordaj, that's cool. Countries, landoj of Asia, estas are cold during winter. The winter.
La ĉefurbo de mia lando situas ĉe la okcidenta marbordo.
Situas ĉe, is that by? At, on. Ĉe la okcidenta marbordo. Love it.
Marbordo is the coast.
Seaboard. Capital of my country. Orlando is located at.
Situated on the eastern seaboard.
Not eastern though. Occidenta. Those
Western.
Words, yeah, western.
Seaboard.
Occident is from a Latin compound noun. Can you identify it? And orient, not a compound, but also a verbal participle.
Student. No.
It
has the int, which makes something into like student.
Okay, what's the end? Yeah, tell me what the pieces are, what they do.
I don't know. Could this be the same thing that's in decide and all those?
Yes. Well, there's a few roots that coincide as a sid when they're reduced. But what's the prefix?
I don't know.
What other words do you know starting with
X,
OCC?
maybe?
No, that one won't change its vowel. It's not X.
La ĉefurbo de Usono estas apud la orienta marbordo.
If you had another guess, I didn't hear it because the audio was playing.
Oh, I was going through the SID space prepositions. It's one of them.
The United States. Good. Apud estas. Apud is on. La, the. Here we go. Orienta. Yeah, again from Latin, as you predicted. Occident, Orient. On the east coast. Mar ordo. Sub inde sine pro ad cum ex ablative. Interesting.
It said space, the ablative astronaut.
Ablative astronaut? What?
All of these prepositions take an object that is ablative.
Oh, gotcha.
And so the mnemonic spells out SID space, which is the name of an astronaut called the ablative astronaut. That's the mnemonic.
Did you come up with that? Did you come up with that? Hello?
Yes.
You did come up with that? Where'd you come up with it?
Who came up with it? I don't know. That's what we were taught in my Latin class.
Wonderful.
So I don't know if my Latin teacher had made it up or if he got it from somewhere.
Like a winner. All right, so with the sident part, so what will we, yeah, well, let's talk about that next then. Incident is there. Decide. Sine. Pro side, I don't recognize. Add side, that one would be there. If we add the ad prefix to quidentem, what does that come out as?
Accident.
That's the one. Cum quidere. We do have an coincide.
That doesn't work, but we have to add in.
There is another
We
positional
have to
word.
put in the
Basic form is obs. And that's what this
obs.
occident is. Like against, kind of.
Okay.
Occur, it has this one too. Obsolete, I suppose, has it. Well, if you think about what happens in the West, what would be a good thing to name? What would be a good verbal action or verbal compound to describe the signature event of the West?
The sun setting.
Exactly. So falling down. The kid is a reduced form of cadere, to fall, from which we also get case. And what is the ENT there at the end? E, not really.
What is it? Derives a. It derives a agentive. That's the word.
Yeah, pretty much. Or really a present active participle. A verbal adjective.
Venu kun mi alla suda marbordo de Francio.
Venu, the imperative, come with me, kun mi, al la suda marbordo de Francio. Come with me to, al la, interesting, to the southern coast of France.
Norden, suden, orienten, occidenten.
What was the Latin word for south, Levi?
Norden, suden, orienten, occidenten.
Australis.
Good. And the north one?
Mi loĝas ĉe la orienta marbordo de Usono.
Mi loĝas ĉe la orienta marbordo de Usono. Mi loĝas, I live. Ĉe, was that near? At, on. Orienta marbordo de, of the United States.
Ni iras nenien.
Iras, ni, we are going nowhere. We go, we're going. Now here. Okay, that's just over 2 hours. Thank you for watching and tuning in. I will say good night.
Good night.
And we'll see you next time. 안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 계세요.